We don't often think about it, but our eyes really are doing so much for us constantly.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's incredible how much we rely on them every single day.
And they're so complex.
Really are.
So many moving parts.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take a deep dive into how our eyes actually work
Sounds good.
using these excerpts that you found about the human eye.
Yeah.
So to start off, I think it'd be helpful to talk about the anatomy.
Here.
Because there's just like this whole system of structures that work together.
Right.
We have the external parts like the eyelids and the eyelashes.
Yeah, those are really our first line of defense there.
I never really thought about it that way.
Yeah, they're protecting the eye.
Yeah.
And those eyelashes, they actually act like tiny nets catching all the dust
We'll
and debris before it can reach the surface of the eye.
Huh, that's so interesting. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
And then we have the conjunctiva.
Yeah, the conjunctiva, so that's the transparent layer
Right.
that covers the white part of your eye.
Okay.
That keeps your eyes lubricated. Okay. Protected and prevents like microorganisms and stuff from getting in.
And when that gets inflamed?
That's when you get pink eye.
Oh, right, yes.
Exactly.
Okay, so moving on from the outer layers,
Yeah.
let's talk about the cornea.
So the cornea, this is the clear window at the front of your eye.
Okay.
It's curved, which is really important.
Okay.
To help bend light rays and focus it onto the lens.
And the cornea is what helps us see clearly by focusing the incoming light.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
So then behind the cornea, you have the iris.
Okay.
So this is the colored part of your eye.
Right.
It controls how much light enters the eye through the pupil.
So the pupil's that black circle.
Exactly.
Yeah, in the center.
Yeah. So the iris,
All right.
it's kind of like the aperture on a camera.
Oh, right.
So when it's really bright, the iris will constrict,
Mm.
making that pupil smaller to let in less light. And then when it's dim, the pupil opens up to let more light in.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So right behind the iris is the lens.
Okay, so the lens
Yeah.
is what kind of fine-tunes the focus
Right.
based on if we're looking at something near or far.
Exactly. So the lens can actually change shape
Oh, wow.
thanks to tiny muscles, allowing it to focus light precisely on the retina.
Okay, so the retina's at the back,
Exactly.
and that's where the
And
image
that's where the magic
is
happens.
projected.
Yes. The retina is a light-sensitive layer
Okay.
that lines the back of your eye.
Okay, so the light hits the retina,
Yes.
and then
Well, then the light is detected by these specialized cells called photoreceptor.
photoreceptors.
Yes, and there's two main types,
Okay.
rods and cones.
Okay, I've heard of those.
Yeah, so rods are super sensitive,
Okay,
allowing us to see even in low light.
so that's how we can see in the dark.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then the cones are responsible for color vision,
Okay.
and they work best in bright light.
So it's like our eyes have this night vision mode.
It's a great way to put it.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, so these photoreceptors, they convert the light into electrical signals, which are transmitted to the brain via the optic nerve.
So it's like the optic nerve is the data cable
Exact.
sending those signals.
Yes, and the brain then processes those signals and interprets them to create the images that we see.
Wow, so much is happening in our brain that we don't realize.
It's amazing. Yeah, and actually the brain even fills in some gaps and corrects for distortions to create like a seamless visual experience.
That's
It's
incredible.
a really complex and fascinating process, and we're really just scratching the surface here.
I know that's crazy to think about
Yeah,
all that's happening just so we can see.
right.
So
Okay.
incredible.
Okay, so now that we've kind of got an idea of, the basic anatomy of the eye,
Yeah, all those parts.
all those pieces, yeah,
Yeah.
let's talk about how we actually see.
Yeah, like how it all comes together.
Right, how all those pieces work together. It's remarkable how quickly and efficiently our eyes can capture and transmit that visual information.
It really is. And I know we talked about the light entering the eye through the cornea and the pupil and the lens focuses that light onto the retina.
Right.
But what happens after that?
Well, those photoreceptor cells we talked about, remember the rods and cones?
Yeah.
Those are really crucial here.
Okay.
Imagine them like tiny sensors that are detecting different aspects of the light coming in.
Okay. That makes sense.
So, for example, those rods, they're incredibly sensitive to even the faintest glimmer of light.
Right. And that's how we're able to see like when it's really dark.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can still kind of navigate even when it's almost pitch black.
Wow.
And then you have the cones,
Okay.
and the cones are responsible for our ability to perceive color.
So we need the cones for color.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is that there are actually 3 types of cones.
3 types.
Yeah, and each one is sensitive to a specific range of wavelengths of light.
Okay.
So we have red, green, and blue.
Oh, so it's like those three are like the building blocks of all the other colors.
Exactly. It's a great way to think about it. Like if you mix paint,
Yeah.
you can combine those three primary colors in different proportions, and you get this whole spectrum of colors.
Oh, wow.
And that's what our brain is doing. It's taking those signals from the cones and blending them to create all the colors we see.
So what about color blindness?
That's a great question. So color blindness happens when one or more types of those cones are either missing or not functioning properly.
Oh, so you're missing like one of those primary colors almost.
Kind of, yeah. Like, for example, someone with red-green color blindness, they might have difficulty distinguishing between shades of red and green because those cones aren't working the way they should.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it really highlights how important the cones are for color vision.
Yeah, definitely. But, we don't just see colors, right? We also see depth, which is how we perceive the world in 3D.
Absolutely. And depth perception is another one of those incredible things our eyes can do.
Did it?
And it really relies on the fact that we have two eyes,
Right.
each positioned slightly apart.
Okay, so they're each getting like a slightly different picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Each eye receives a slightly different image of the same scene.
So it's like two cameras.
Yeah, like two cameras capturing slightly offset views.
Interesting.
And then both of those images are sent to the brain, which combines them
Uh-huh.
and analyzes those subtle differences to create that sense of depth.
That's so cool. And I've always heard that like 3D movies, they kind of work on a similar principle.
They do, yeah. They use two slightly different images projected onto the screen
Right.
to mimic the way our eyes naturally perceive depth.
That's really cool.
So speaking of depth perception, did you know that we actually have a blind spot in each eye?
Wait, a blind spot? What do you mean like I can't see something?
Yeah, it's true. It's a small area on the retina
Okay.
where the optic nerve exits the eye,
Huh?
and there are no photoreceptor cells there.
So it's like a blank spot.
Basically, yeah, we can't detect light in that specific spot.
That's crazy. I've never noticed like a blank spot in my vision.
Well, that's because our brains are super clever. Okay.
They actually use information from the surrounding area to fill in that missing information.
Yeah. So our brain is just like making stuff up.
Yeah, kind of. It's constantly compensating and adjusting so we don't even realize that blind spot is there.
Wow. So we have these blind spots and we never know because our brain is just covering it up.
Exactly. It's incredible how much our brain is doing behind the scenes
Yeah.
to create this seamless visual experience.
So it's really not just our eyes, it's our eyes and our brain working together.
It's a real collaboration.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's a great example of how vision isn't just passively capturing light,
Yeah.
it's actively processing and interpreting that information.
That's amazing how our brains are just filling that in without us even knowing.
It really is. The brain's pretty incredible.
It is so, as amazing as our eyes are, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes things can go wrong.
Right. Unfortunately, they're not perfect.
And there's a bunch of different eye conditions that can affect our vision.
Yeah, there are.
Some of them are really common, like myopia, hyperopia, and astigmatism, right? Those are all refractive error.
Refractive errors.
Yeah, so that means the shape of the eye is preventing the light from focusing properly on the retina.
Oh?
So like myopia or nearsightedness.
Yeah.
That makes it difficult to see distant objects.
Okay.
And then hyperopia or farsightedness
Uh-huh.
makes it hard to see things up close.
Okay.
And then astigmatism causes blurry vision at all distances
Oh.
because the cornea has like an irregular shape.
So it's not focusing correctly.
Exactly.
But the good news is that those conditions can be corrected with glasses or contacts.
Usually, yeah, for the
Mhm.
most part.
That's good.
Yeah, but then there are also some more serious conditions,
Right.
like cataracts, glaucoma, and macular degeneration.
Yeah, those are definitely scarier.
Yeah, these ones can lead to significant vision loss if they're not treated.
Wow.
Yeah, so cataracts, they cloud the lens of the eye,
Oh, okay.
which makes your vision blurry or hazy.
Okay.
And then glaucoma damages the optic nerve
Okay.
due to increased pressure inside the eye.
And the optic nerve is what sends those signals to the brain, right?
Exactly, so that's a big problem.
Yeah.
And then macular degeneration,
Uh-huh.
that affects the central part of the retina,
Okay.
which is responsible for sharp, detailed vision.
Oh, so that would make it hard to like...
Yeah, it can make it difficult to read or recognize faces
Right.
or even drive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's definitely important to catch these early.
Yeah, like regular eye exams are important.
Absolutely, they're crucial for catching these problems early on when treatment can be the most effective.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, speaking of which, we've talked about what can go wrong.
Uh-huh.
Let's talk about how we can take care of our eyes.
Yeah, because we only get one pair,
We do.
so we got to protect them. What are some easy things that we can all do?
Well, one of the easiest and most important is wearing sunglasses.
Sunglasses.
Yeah, sunglasses that block UV rays.
Okay.
It's basically like sunscreen for your eyes.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you're protecting them from the sun.
Exactly, and it's important year-round, not just in the summer.
Really, even when it's cloudy?
Yeah, even when it's cloudy, those UV rays can still penetrate.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's important to protect your eyes whenever you're outside.
Good to know. Um, what about our diet? Does that affect our eye health?
Absolutely. There are some foods that are really good for your eyes.
Okay, like what?
Well, leafy green vegetables like spinach and kale,
Okay.
those are packed with lutein and zeaxanthin,
Okay.
which are antioxidants that can help protect against macular degeneration.
Okay, so eating healthy can help prevent those serious conditions.
Exactly. And then foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids,
Okay.
like salmon and flax seeds.
Okay.
Those are also good for eye health.
So a balanced diet, basically.
Yeah.
And I imagine sleep is important too.
Oh, yeah. Definitely when we sleep, our eyes get a chance to rest and repair themselves.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's like hitting the reset button for your eyes, and especially in this digital age.
Right.
It's important to take breaks from screens.
Yeah, all that screen time's got to be bad for your eyes.
It can be, yeah. It can lead to eye strain headaches, dry eyes.
Yeah.
So try to follow the 20-20-20 rule.
20-20-20 rule.
Yeah, so every 20 minutes, look away from your screen.
Right.
It's something 20 feet away for at least 20 seconds.
Okay, so just give your eyes a little break.
Exactly, just a little reset.
I could do that.
Yeah, and, taking care of your eyes isn't just about preserving your vision.
Right.
It's also about your overall health.
Okay.
Because eye exams can sometimes reveal signs of other health conditions,
Like what?
like diabetes or high blood pressure.
Oh, wow. So it's like a window into our overall health.
Exactly. It's pretty amazing.
It is. I'm definitely walking away from this deep dive with a new appreciation for my eyes.
Yeah, they really are remarkable organs.
They are, and I never realized how much was going on behind the scenes.
Right.
Just so we can see.
Yeah, they connect us to the world. They allow us to experience its beauty, navigate its complexities, and even connect with other people.
It's true.
So it's been great talking about this with you.
Yeah, this has been fascinating.
And for our listener out there, I hope this has inspired you to learn even more about your amazing eyes.
Yes, and take good care of them.
Absolutely.
Until next time.
Stay curious.
And keep those peepers healthy.